I understand from our marketing team that this might be a few people's first time joining an EdApp webinar, a few people that are relatively new to EdApp. So welcome to anyone if you're joining for the first time, and welcome back for everyone that's maybe been on an EdApp webinar previously. So this is, I'm pleased to say now, it's the second installment of a webinar that we're running on AI features launching in EdApp. We first launched our AI Create tool about 2 months ago. And since then, we've really enhanced the tool, added a lot of new features. So a massive shout out to our product team who have really been working overtime to bring in loads of AI powered features into EdApp. And it's awesome to get the chance to showcase those to our clients today. So I'll just run you through the agenda for today before I introduce myself and Bobby. So pretty packed agenda, not just one feature, but we're going to talk through 6 new features that we've launched on EdApp. Here you'll see them on the screen. So I've got the easy job of just introducing the features. Then I'm going to hand over to Bobby, who's going to run a live product demo. We've got a nice use case using Ford to talk through the new features. Then we'll jump into a Q&A. And we'll wrap up with a bit of a sneak peek on what's coming next. So what's going to be coming next on EdApp. So before we get into it, just a couple of guidelines before we start. If people do have any questions, great for you to drop them into the Q&A feature. If you could ask questions in the Q&A feature rather than the chat feature, it just makes our team, makes it easier for the team to respond to those questions. And we've got a couple of people supporting on the webinar, Eliza, Molly, and Jenna from our customer success team will be frantically typing away, answering all of your questions. So cool. Firstly, yeah, let's introduce ourselves. So maybe Bobby, over to you first, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Yeah, my name is Bobby. I'm a senior client success manager here, based in the US. If you couldn't tell by my accent, and yeah, really excited to take you guys through the demo portion today.
Awesome. Nice one, Bobby. And yeah, my name's Paul. I'm a client manager for EdApp. I'm based in London. So we've got quite a nice transatlantic team on the call today with me and Bobby. And yeah, I work with some of our sort of large enterprise clients looking to bring, a fresh way of delivering online learning to their organizations, right the way down to kind of small and medium-sized businesses where it's maybe their first learning platform. And EdApp is a great tool for both. So cool. So what are we going to talk about today? So as I said, we've got six new features to introduce. So first up is AI Create. And this is a tool to use generative AI to almost instantly build a course on any topic. It's an awesome feature. And yeah, Bobby's going to showcase how that works. Then we're looking at AI to create questions. So to bring in additional engagement, and assessing knowledge levels through using quizzing and questioning within lessons. Then we've got video and image editor and rich text editor. Both of these are linked and just make it super easy now to speed up the editing process in EdApp. And then finally, we'll be looking at paths and creating curated learning journeys of content. So talking about how it's easy to build content and then put it in a really nice, succinct journey for employees to take that content. And you'll really notice a kind of key theme that runs through all of the features that we'll be introducing today, and it's about saving you time. So it's how do we really empower our clients to create great training content in minutes and hours rather than days. So it's saving you guys time so that you can focus on not the boring stuff, but really the exciting stuff that's about making sure the content is really aligned and personalized to the target audience and making sure it really hits on specific business needs. So awesome. Bobby, anything I've missed from the introduction? Or
no, I think that was a great start. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Let's jump into the demo environment.
Perfect. Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, so as I mentioned here, we're going to use the scenario of Ford. So Bobby has kindly quickly mocked up some quick branding in the account here. And the scenario is building a sales academy, right? So there's two scenarios we're going to talk through. Is important for a sales academy is great product training. So we're going to talk about using some content that's about specific Ford cars and bringing that into an engaging lesson in EdApp. And then we're going to also talk about kind of best practice sales skills. So how do we use a prompt to build an AI course on best practice sales skills? So sweet. So first up, let's focus on product knowledge. So yeah, so Bob, if you just want to talk through like adding an AI course here on product knowledge.
Sure thing. Yeah. And for those of you that aren't familiar with EdApp, and maybe this is the first time, you're looking at the platform, I'm in the admin portal here where, you can do a lot of cool things other than creating courses, but we're going to be focusing on the content creation piece here. So if I click this purple create button here, you'll see there's a couple of options, but where we're going to focus on today is the create with AI button here. So as Paul mentioned, pretty much all you really would have to do is just type in a phrase, or you could copy and paste in some paragraphs, which is the example that I'm going to show you for creating a course from AI. So as Paul mentioned, one of the topics that we're going to talk about today is product knowledge with Ford. So I just have up here a blog article on the Ford website about the Ford Ranger. So I'm just going to copy and paste this text here. It's not going to include that image. I'm just going to copy this and go back over to the admin portal here and paste it in here. And you'll see here that here we have all of the text here. And then all you got to do is click generate course. So usually it takes around 60 seconds. You will see that we actually did brand this account with the Ford logo and the Ford colors. So you could do this to match your own company's colors. You can upload your own company's logo. You can do that in the global theme, or you can do it on the course theme here as well. So every time you make a new course, potentially, if you set it globally, it can have the same look and feel, which is great. So you can see here that in the background, it's importing images that weren't in that blog article. It's making quiz questions. It's making some content type slides. If you're not too familiar with EdApp, we're a template-based authoring system. So in the background, it's pretty much picking and choosing some templates and creating them to make one lesson here, which is great. So we can see here now that, it's named the course here. So we have the all-new Ford Ranger, the ultimate adventure pickup. And the first lesson in this course is unleashing the power and new capabilities of the all-new Ford Ranger. And you can see here that there are 12 slides within this lesson. So we have 12 slides here, and you can click through these slides here. Here is an image of a Ranger here. So we have text and images on this one slide. Here we have some bullet points. And then, moving on down here, we have some quiz questions, which are really great here. Most of these are multiple choice. But yeah, just it's a really good way to, test the understanding of a certain topic in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Great demo, Bobby. Cheers. And yeah, I do love this tool. And it really it aligns to EdApp's learning pedagogy. So we're trying to teach, test, and reinforce all in a short lesson. So to make sure knowledge retention is really high and it's got a high level of engagement as well. So yeah, really useful, obviously for a sales academy, but for any type of training content where you've got a lot of existing content, you want to bring it into EdApp quickly and create an engaging lesson. So yeah, that's one great example. The other way you can use the AI create feature is through using a text prompt. So yeah, Bobby, if we just showcase here using a text prompt to kind of add in additional content for this lesson.
Absolutely, yeah. So what I'm actually going to do now is we actually have an AI lesson generator. So inside of a course, you can have multiple lessons that make up the course. So what I want to do now is make a separate lesson. And I want to incorporate some sales content in here. So I'm just going to type in conversation starters for car salespeople. So pretty broad topic, but you can make it as specific as you want. So I'm just going to type that in here and click generate lesson. And you're going to see it's going to be doing pretty much the same thing that it did at the course level here. But you will see that it did make a separate lesson inside of this course. So when this is done doing its thing, we'll have a 2-lesson course. As Paul mentioned, we usually like to have our lessons be short and sweet, usually between the 10 and 15 slide mark. And usually it takes people around 5 to 7 minutes to complete an individual lesson, depending on what you have in there.
Awesome, love it. And then, yeah, the great thing about the AI Create feature is it drops all of the content directly into the EdApp authoring tool. So once the course has been built by AI, you have the power to edit that course, personalize it, remove images, add different images, add extra slides.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it, Bowie. Show us how that's done.
Yeah, so I was just going to say here, if I click through the slides, you'll see that we do have this editing pane on the right-hand side. We have the preview in the middle here. And one of the things too that we wanted to talk about today was the rich text editor, right? So maybe I wanted to bold or italicize some of this text. If I highlight some text here, you'll see here that I can change the size of it. I could potentially bold it if I wanted to. I could italicize it potentially. I could underline it if I wanted to here. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do. You can also insert a hyperlink here if you wanted to bring them to an external web page, your learners. And then we also have some aligning that we can do here, left, center, or right. And we have some bullet points or numberings that we can also do here as well, right? So maybe we wanted to have this be, number 1, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
One other thing to mention too is we do have an undo and a redo button. So if you do make a mistake, you can just press undo there.
Yeah. Awesome. Nice one, Bobby. So yeah, I think that's just another tweak in the way the authoring tool works that makes it even easier now, easier and quicker to edit the content that you're building within the lesson. So yeah, great. So I think, yeah, 2 examples of using AI Create to create two different types of content, that product knowledge and best practice sales skills. Now let's just talk through using a similar feature, but it's designed to create questions and quiz questions within the lesson.
Absolutely. Yeah, so those of you that, again, maybe are not seeing that for the first time, you're probably wondering, how could I add in new slides? Is that possible? It is possible. So you can add in new slides to lessons or courses that were created by AI. There's this new slide button down here that I can click on. And what we're going to focus on today is the AI create function. All these other sections here are some of the other templates that you'll see in an AI generated course, but we're going to click on AI create here. And again, here we could just type in a prompt here. So something that I thought of the other day is that's sales related is let's do steps in the car sales process. Click generate. I can actually close this screen. So if I wanted to have it run in the background while I'm, doing some other editing, I can do that too. And then it'll let me know when it's done up here. And usually depending on the prompt or how specific it is, it'll probably generate anywhere. I've seen from 3 to like 8 questions, depending on the length. Great, so we can open this up now. And now I can see that we have 4 different multiple choice questions here that were generated based off of that prompt. So it looks like, yeah, we have a bunch of different steps here in the sales process. I don't have to add them all to my lesson if I didn't want to, but if I click on one of these, now I have the option to select from one of 4 templates. So you can see here on the right-hand side, we do have a preview of what it would look like with their regular multiple choice template, or you can pick from circle the answer where they actually have to circle it. We have chat, which could be good in a sales scenario, like you're having a conversation with someone where they have to pick an answer. Or carousel, where they can just click or drag or tap through all of these options here. So let's just say we like all of these, right? We want to add them in. I'll just pick different templates for each one here. And then we can click add to lesson. And yeah, so now these are going to be inserted towards the bottom of my lesson here. And here are all of those questions that we just looked at a moment ago.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, it's a really good way to save some time, especially maybe you're working on a Word document or bringing some text over into our platform. It's a great way that if you don't have those questions built out already, this can save you a lot of time.
Great, nice one, Bobby. So I think that was it on the kind of new features around creating a course and then building questions within a course, and the way you can convert those questions into different types of quiz questions. I think, Bobby, was there anything else on the AI Create side, or should we go over now building a kind of learning pathway and then demoing also the learning experience?
I have one more thing I wanted to mention, and then that's our image editor that we have now. That's one of the things that we had highlighted at the top of the call. So anywhere where there's an image in EdApp, if you hover over the image and click the pencil, let me just do that again if you guys just want to see that again for a moment. If I hover over, and you can see here that there's a way that I can upload an image, go to our media library, or pull in an image from Canva, or delete the image. If I click the pencil here, this is where we can do a lot of different things. You know, we could rotate it, we can flip it. I'm just going to click this button and go back to how it was to start. We could put a filter on this potentially. Maybe we like how that looks here. We could fine tune it with all of these different options here, or we can annotate it as well too. So one of the ones I like here is the arrow. Let's make this width a little bit bigger, right? So maybe where we want to point at this POS system, for example, here. We can also change the color of the line. Maybe we want to make it green or something like that. We can do that here. Now you can also draw different lines. You can write on here. One of my other favorite ones is a text box here, right? So maybe we want to say, you know, remember the steps in the sales process or something like that. We can change the color to white potentially, or black, or another color to make it a little bit more readable here. So you can just click through here to see which one you want. And then we can click done. You can also resize it as well if you like. But this one looks pretty good size-wise. So yeah, now we have our text here and the arrow here. So just a really good way that if you wanted to personalize the images that either you upload yourself or that you pull in from that are pulled in from the AI Create tool, it's a great way to do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, great. So another nice feature that helps speed up the content design process. So yeah, sweet. Thanks, Bobby. I think, yeah, next thing we're going to talk through was building a little pathway. Now we've created this lesson, how do we actually make sure that learners can find that content, and creating a really nice, short, succinct, curated learner journey for them?
Exactly. So you can see here that in my course library, there's a bunch of different courses. Some of them are sales focused. Some of them are just focused on Ford here. This is the course that we just built on the Ford Ranger, and you can see that it actually did upload a course cover image that looks really great. One thing that I want to do before I go to that pathway is actually publish this course so it's viewable on the learner side. I'm just going to publish this now. And then, yeah, so one of the really cool things that we can do in EdApp that Paul had mentioned is we can make a path. So a path is a really good way that you could pretty much add a bunch of courses to, you know, it's kind of like a learner journey, like Paul mentioned. So if you wanted for them to take courses in a certain order, or potentially have built-in prerequisites where they need to take, you know, course 1 before they can take course 2, and so on and so forth. It's a really good way to allow learners to go through a journey like that. So you can see here that we do have some paths that are already created in here and published, but I just want to create one from scratch to show you guys what it looks like. So let's say we'll make this Ford product knowledge. And then what we can do here is add courses that already exist in my account to this path. So I'll click that button here, and I can scroll down to see all of my courses that are in here. Maybe we want to have this Ford F-150 and the Ford Ranger course be a part of it. We can add these courses to the path, and then we can also click and drag them to rearrange them, right? Maybe we want for them to take the Ford F-150 course before taking the Ford Ranger course. By default, the path is sequential, which means that their learners are locked until they complete the previous course in the path. Or we can make it free form where it doesn't matter what order they take it in, but you are still suggesting an order here. I think by default, let's leave this on as sequential here. I'm going to publish this, but before I actually, let me save my changes first. I also want to go to settings here. There's different ways that you can assign this to either certain groups of users or make it universally accessible. I want to go to branding here, and I want to put a cover image on this path. So I actually have some Ranger images stored in my media library. You can also see that some of the images that were created by AI are also here too, right? So maybe we want to add, yeah, this is a pretty cool one. Maybe we want to add this image as the cover image to the path. Looks great. You can also customize the completion badge here or customize a certain message. So when they complete all courses in the path, it's just a really good way just to pretty much tell a learner that they've done a good job in completing all the courses that are in here. Cool. So I'm going to save changes. Let me go back to path here. So now we can see that we do have another icon here, and this path is ready to go. So I do think like Paul mentioned, it's important for you guys to see the learner side of things. So what does this look like to the learner? How does that experience work? And how to potentially can you launch a course? So I'm going to go to my other tab that I have up here. Let me just refresh this page so we can see that new path that I just created in here. Yep, and here it is. Perfect. All right, so let me explain what we got going on here. So what we have up here is we have a course banner up here. It says featured course. And this is the Ford F-150 course that we just put in our path here. So if you're utilizing course banners, it's a great way just to highlight a certain course. I can actually click or tap on this if I'm using a mobile device, and it'll put me right inside of this course where I can start taking this course and start the lesson. Let me go back a moment though. Where I want to scroll down here is, show you what we have going on in the For You tab of the Learners app. So here we have all of the published paths that are in my account. So if I click into the Ford product knowledge path here, I can see that we have the Ford F-150 course, and we do have the Ford Ranger course, but there is a lock on it because we set the sequential option on that path. Right, so we could just click either start path, or we can click on this lesson here to start the lesson. Before I do that though, I just wanted to scroll down a little bit here on the home screen. Here we have an up next section. So courses that are recently published would show up here, and courses that, if you're setting a due date, there are certain settings that you could put on a course. They would show on the left-hand side here and up next. I also want to show you what it looks like on a mobile device. So if I inspect my browser here, it looks pretty similar. We do have a horizontal scroll on the mobile browser. So for paths, for courses here. And then we also do have a library tab where learners can just see all the courses that are assigned to them, and whether if they're locked or not, they can see them all here. Just as a reminder, we are very mobile friendly. We're available on the App Store and Google Play Store. And learners can switch back and forth. So if they want to take a couple lessons on mobile, and then, maybe they get to the office and they want to, finish a course out on desktop, they have all the power in the world to do that. So yeah, why don't we just do let's do the F-150 course. So let me just start this lesson, and I'll just do a brief demo of this one course that we have going on here. So here we have an image with some text that I can actually zoom into a little bit. Bunch of images with some text boxes here about the Ford F-150. Here I can scroll through these slides here with some text and images, and keep going. And then towards the bottom of this one is where we have the quiz questions, where learners can test their knowledge on some of these topics here. So I can select an option, click continue. I didn't get that one right. And then just continue on through the lesson.
Awesome. Nice one. Yeah, thanks, Bobby. I think, what we showed there is really how quick and easy it is to go from creating a course to then launching it, adding it into a curated learner journey, and then taking that either on mobile or on desktop. So within, what have we done? 20 minutes on this webinar, you built a course, edited it, and then launched it to learners.
And created a path, yeah.
And created the pathway. Yeah, exactly. So sweet. I think in terms of product features, that was everything kind of new that we wanted to show today. I think we do have a couple of questions that have come in, Bobby. So maybe we can answer those questions, and then we'll kind of talk through maybe some other helpful resources around the other webinars that we run, and what's coming next at EdApp.
Sure.
So sweet. One of the questions that we've had, I think, which tees up the kind of reviewer tool in EdApp quite well, is from Samantha. She's asked, how do we ensure the quality and accuracy of the content? And if the person, potentially within the learning team isn't an SME in that area, how can they ask an SME within the business to review that content?
Really great question, actually. Really great question. Yeah, so we do recommend that, obviously, that the information that gets pulled in is read over. If I go back to the admin portal here, And I can just go back to my Ford Ranger course. You can see here that when I'm in the all-in-one builder, there is a review button. So if I click this review button, what I can do as an admin is I can actually share this course and I can put in some emails. And these could be people that aren't even in your EdApp account. Maybe these are external stakeholders, or could be like VPs or the CEO of your company or something like that. You could pop in their email. And then what they can do here is leave comments slide by slide on here, right? So maybe we want to replace this image, for example. I can post this. And then once I invite people to this, I can actually mention them too. So if I invited Paul to this and he accepted the invite, I can actually @ Paul, and then he would actually get email notifications on that. So, if I wanted Paul to make some changes right away, I can mention him, he'll get an email notification, then he can go right in here if he's an author and open up the all-in-one builder and make those changes. And this can be left open. This can be left open for as long as they want. If someone's done, they can click the I'm done button, and you can actually notify some people. So if I wanted Paul to make 5 changes, he made all the changes, he can actually select myself as a user here and add in a message as something that could be cool, right? So maybe he wants to say, hey, Bobby, I've applied all the changes to this course. Maybe he has like some additional feedback where, looks great overall or something like that. You can also not notify anyone too. But yeah, this is a really great way to just collaborate on courses, even if it's not a course built from AI, to be honest with you. Even if it's a course built from scratch by yourself, or maybe using our PowerPoint converter or something like that. It's a really good way to get feedback and make some changes quick on the fly.
Awesome, love it. Thanks, Bobby. I think it really shows there's kind of a 3-step process you can introduce to building great content really quickly on EdApp. So you can generate the course with AI, you can then personalize it yourself, and then you can ask a subject matter expert to review that. So I think the creating with AI is the time-saving element, and then also running through that process at speed as well. Awesome. I think there's a couple of other questions in the chat which are being answered by our colleagues, so I'll leave those for now. I think maybe next, Bobby, if we go back to the slide deck and just wrap up and then talk about what's coming next.
Sure thing. Let me just full screen this here. Before we get into what's coming up next, one thing that we wanted to shout out, especially for those that may not have been too familiar with EdApp before today, is that we also have so many other, what I like to call bells and whistles, a lot of different add-ons that we can have here, just to make the overall learning experience come to fruition, right? So, not only do we have paths, right? We have Brain Boost, which is our spaced repetition feature. So every time a learner completes a course, the quiz questions will be pushed back out to them in a separate tile in the Learner's app titled Brain Boost. So that's one of my favorite features of the platform, because you could have a course on something, but if they're not refreshed on the knowledge, they might forget about some of those topics maybe a month later, maybe a couple of weeks later even. So Brain Boost is a really good spaced repetition feature that are available for all paid accounts in EdApp. You've seen some of the templates that we have to offer. You saw some of the quiz questions, some of the content templates, but we also do have some game templates as well. We have a Jeopardy game. We have a time true or false game that's called Left or Right, and a bunch of others as well that can definitely just make learning fun and bring it to life, especially if you're an industry where, maybe you're just doing your training by having people read SOPs or something like that. It definitely brings it to life. You kind of already seen the rapid authoring tool. It's so easy to make changes, especially with the rich text editor now and the image editor. So it's just a really good way to bring everything together. We also have language translation as well. So for the AI course creator, it doesn't work for additional languages right now, but you can take that course and translate it into, I think we have over 150 languages now you could translate it into, which is awesome. A couple other things here. Group training is a really good way that maybe you're doing some training in person. Maybe you want to do both. Maybe you want to do a hybrid model where you have some blended learning things going on, or maybe maybe one day a month you do a group training session, and then you want to have them take some courses individually. Group training is a really good feature that EdApp has that allows for you to full screen a course, add attendees that were there, and then click an end session button to have everything recorded in analytics. So it's a really good way to bring some of the in-person training into EdApp for the first time. And then, yeah, lastly, we have a very rich analytics suite where, we could see lesson level analytics. You can see slide level analytics. We can do a lot of filtering and exporting. So you can really see, where the trends are. Maybe there's certain questions that people just, are just having a tough time of comprehending. Maybe you can use that information. If it took Paul like 5 times to get a certain question correct, or maybe it's not just Paul, maybe it's a bunch of other people at your organization. Maybe it's time to either maybe have an in-person meeting about that topic or create just a separate lesson just on that topic. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Anything that I missed there, Paul?
No, I was just going to add, for anyone that is new to EdApp and wants to find out more about some of the other features, we run weekly webinars. We run three every week that are called our onboarding boot camps. They'll give you a breakdown of how to use the authoring tool, how to use learner and content management, and engagement and analytics. So it's 3 webinars we run every single week. So yeah, feel free to join any of those. They're just on the website, EdApp website under webinars.
Yeah, if you go to support.edapp.com, you'll be able to find those there. Yeah, we can have someone put that link in the chat for you guys. But yeah, it's a really good way just to get quickly upskilled on the platform. There's also videos that you can watch on demand if you can't make the live sessions. Cool. All right, Paul, should we get into what's coming up?
Yeah, nice. So as I said, we kind of first launched our AI Create tool about 2 months ago. And the product team are already thinking about where we can go to next. And there's quite a lot of exciting developments. Hopefully we'll be back, Bobby, running another webinar in the coming weeks. But maybe just talk through a couple of the bits that we're seeing on the screen here.
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the ones that a lot of us are excited about are the converting documents into courses with AI. So right now the team is working on a way for you to scan in an entire document. Not sure if there will be any limitations to that, but let's say you have a 10-slide PowerPoint, or maybe it's a Word document where there aren't any images at all. You can scan that into EdApp and it will make a full course for you. So it'll do some of the things that we saw today. It will add the content slides. It will add in some images if you don't have it. If you do have images, it will add those in too. And it will also make a bunch of quiz questions as well. So that's something that we're really excited about. And you'll be able to do multiple document types. So you can do PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoints, things like that. So one of the things we're really excited about here when it comes to next steps with AI.
Yeah.
Another one some of my clients are really excited about is AI narration. So I don't think that they've started working on this feature yet, but they're going to be able to, pretty much what happens is, say you have a full course, you're going to be able to, I think, pick different voices that you want, and it will create an audio track for the entire course. So if you wanted, we know that, a lot of people do like voiceovers, especially if there are people that, maybe some people just prefer that method instead of just straight up reading. So I think that's going to be a really great addition to the platform here, where you'll be able to, narrate entire courses rather than, having to record your own or go to like an external website to try to find some platform that can do that for you. You're going to be able to do it all on the platform eventually. So really good stuff. And then the two here on the right hand side are going to be some editing improvements that I think are going to be game changers. So we have AI text rewrite tools for tone, length, and style. This could also help with storytelling too, right? So maybe you have a bunch of text here, but maybe it's dry. Again, maybe you have an SOP. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, and you want to bring it to life a little bit. You could plug in some of your preferences here, and the AI would rewrite the text in your course. And then lastly here is building course outlines and objectives. So again, maybe you're not sure on how to structure a course. A lot of my clients, when they first start out, are very, they always ask me, they're like, what's the proper way to structure a course, or what slide should I use? You can actually have AI suggest a couple of methods and models for you here. So Again, just another really good enhancement that we're really excited about here.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks, Bobby. And yeah, definitely some exciting stuff coming next from us here at EdApp. I think the last point I was going to say to kind of wrap up the webinar is obviously we really try and take a customer-centric approach to developing any new products or new features on EdApp. So if anyone on the webinar has any new ideas how AI can enhance learning experiences that you're designing and rolling out across your organizations, get in touch and let us know. But yeah, I think that was it from me, Bobby. Anything else from you before we wrap up?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, thanks for joining me along this ride. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Cheers, Bobby. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Have a good one.